Welcome to Yeshiva Daf, Shir Sponsor, Nishbas, Am Yakashol, Melabas Yitzchok. We're holding in Basra, Daf Yudalt. We're starting that Yudal base at the bottom in the last two lines. The Gemara says, Tonu Rabban, Haroitze Ledabeg Toiro Nevim Uksuvim Keechot. Someone who wants to connect the Torah Nevim Uksuvim Keechot, who wants to make one big scroll as Torah Nevim Uksuvim. So what does he do? Medapik, he could do it. We had a machlokes about that before. The Gemara says he could do it. So what does it mean? You fold it to one side, and therefore the one side, the smaller edge, is going to be the size of what? Of a amud. Amud is the stick where everything stands on. And the heck means if I have a cloth. Right? Look at it. It goes, scrolls. The last piece covers the entire thing. Our Gemara understands, our Girsa is the what? That he does that Beroishon, meaning the beginning he does Amud, and Besoif meaning the Gemara understands that you scroll it to the beginning. Right? That's why the beginning is small, and the end is Kedei Gulekif. Right? So you go in and you go from the beginning to end, and then the end covers everything else. He starts at the end and ends at the top. So my comment doesn't want to say how because if he wants to cut it, he can cut it. So therefore, what do? You stop in the bottom and you end in the top because you want to be able to cut it. So I do Torah and then the bottom, and then continue later. And continue the top, so I can cut it for him. So it says the beginning and the end of the sefer is both the same size. Says the Gemara, what's kedilogul? Kedilogul amud. Amud means the stick, the wood that the cemetery goes around it, kashek, because you said that the end's supposed to be like and it's the entire size of the cemetery. We said at the beginning of the end of the cemetery how much space you have to leave in the scroll. Right? The scroll opens up, you have ksav in it. You have to make sure that one edge is enough to cover one stick, and the other one is once you finish everything, you scroll the whole thing. You have one piece of parchment to cover the entire sefer. So you're saying we have one says different than the other. Here the Brisa says both are the same size. Says the Gemara, not going to be you have to read it. It's not the same thing. The beginning and end, there are different types of added scroll you need to do. That's talking about Sefer only. And again, Rashi holds that this is the use of Rashi in the Sugya. You go from beginning to end. When you start, you roll it till the end. And you get to the end, and then you cover everything. The Sefer Torah and Niglal and Seisei. In Sefer Torah, you have two rolls, right? Because we have today. Sefer Torah has two sides. You roll them both sides. Sefer Torah is like we have. You have eight Tzachayim on one side, eight Tzachayim on another side. Different than when you have other Sfarim, or if you have Torah and Nevim Ksuvim, then you roll all to one side. So that's when you roll all to one side. So one side covers the stick, the wood, and the other one covers the entire thing. Covering both sides, then you do both sides. And they did the Sefer Torah, like we said over here, two sides like we do today. Now, interesting enough, this is a Machlokes Rashi Toyos over here. When you have a sefer, you go the sefer to one side, but you go from beginning to end, or from end to the beginning. We can relate to this Megillah Esther. Everybody has a Megillah Esther. What do you do Megillah Esther? How do you do Megillah Esther? Fold it to where? End to the beginning. You start from the end, you roll it, so when you open it, it's the beginning. The beginning is what covers the top. Now then, Toyos brings this gear, so there's discussed that maybe different Torah Nevim Ksuvim is different when you have a Megillah on its own. Megillah says you go from the end to the beginning. But when you have a Torah, you go beginning to end. That's what to say. So and that maybe because you don't want the Sefer to be in the top, you don't want the Sefer to surround and be ksuvim. So the proper way to keep it is the Sefer Torah inside, and if you around it, ksuvim around it. But in a regular city, do it differently. Or it says maybe the gear says the opposite. This means the opposite gear. So interesting enough to go from beginning to end, or from end to beginning. So the Torah Sefer Torah loy orko yoisa kefoy loy kefoy yoiser alok, which means you try to do that the length of the Sefer Torah will be the same size as the hekef. The hekef means the circumference that you put around the Sefer. So if you take a string and you go around it, it should be the same size as the length.
Circumference should be the same
as the length. Yeah. The look at it should be the same thing. Shalu to Rabbi Shio Sefer Torah. They asked Rabbi, what's the Shio Sefer Torah? Amalim begvil shisha. The size is supposed to be gvil. What's gvil? Gvil is when you take a parchment, cut it into half. So then, what size is considered to be the gvil? What he says over here. Sorry, gvil is before it was processed at all. That's gvil. Yeah. Size of that. One second. I was going to speak about it. That's the right way to do it. So the gvil, and the gvil is the unprocessed hide. Yes. Yes. What do you mean?
You wrap a Sefer Torah around, the circumference is the same as height. So if you had
a big Sefer Torah?
Oh, you ask a big Sefer Torah. Oh, it has to be a small Sefer Torah. So that's what the Gemara says.
The optimal size of the Sefer Torah is not like.
So one thing, the Gemara says. So the Gemara says like this: if it's a gvil, which is unprocessed height, the size should be shisha. The klaf, which is half a gvil, you cut the gvil into half. One size becomes duchsustus, the other side becomes klaf. The klaf become any of that. Ravuno kosav shivin sivir deraisa. He wrote 70 sivir Torah. He was not able to do that measurement that the length and the circumference would be the same. Only one of them. I don't know. Well, the height of the certain. Did one on the hide of a young cow. He's coming right away. Came to the same size. Yoga now even have an option. Go and look at him and meaning what? So before you read the explanation, the pshat is because they felt it was a little gaiva. He had gaiva did it the first time, or that he used kishu, he used sorcery to get to that, to be able to do it so in the first opportunity. So we know you wrote 4 in the Sefer Torah. He said that can't be. 4 in the Sefer Torah, a person can't write in a lifetime 4 in the Sefer Torah. Because he wrote the words Torah Tziva Lo Moshe, he wrote that 400 times. Now you could do. And as Torah points out, Torah Tziva Lo Moshe is Torah, because when you teach a child, when he learns how to talk, you learn Torah Tziva Lo Moshe. That's the first stage of Torah. Rabbi Yana planted 400 vineyards. So again, it's an exaggeration. 400 vineyards, one person planted. The minimum vineyard for halacha purposes is 4 vines. 2, one across from each other, and 1 sticking out in the middle. And that's what he means. He planted 400 minimum vineyards. Says the Gemara, basically. What was the question? So the Gemara is being a question that what we said regarding the size of the Sefer Torah, what is supposed to be. Says the Gemara, and the Gemara now is giving a very long sugya regarding how the Oren of Moshe, the Oren of Bris, Oren of Kodesh, how exactly the Luchos was sitting in the Oren. Says the Gemara like this: Oren shos Moshe amasai v'chetzi orkoi ve'amo v'chetzi ruchboi ve'amo v'chetzi komoso. So the length and width of the Oren is 2.5 amas by 1.5, and the height is 1.5 amas. Now we're not going to discuss the height in this Gemara. We're going to discuss over here only right now the interior part of the Oren, which is 2.5 by 1.5. Right? Now what is the measurement? This is Ramei Shito. Ramei holds that you measure everything with 6 tefachim am. So if I have 2.5 by 1.5, what's a 2.5? How many tefachim is it? 15 by 1.5, which is 9. Right? Haluchos or kon shisha v'ochon shisha v'ovion shloisha. The luchos are 6 by 6, and they have a width of 3. But the length and width, and they have the thickness. But the length and width is 6 by 6. Munachos keneged orka shalor, and they're placed keneged orka shalor. How much luchos oichos born? How much luchos oichos born? Shnei masatvar. Why 12? Because each shloach is 6 by 6. So 6 by 6 is each shloach. How many luchos do we have? Luchos. So I have 6 by 6. I put on place one next to each other. What is the length? It's 12. How much do we have? That's the width. But we go, in other words, we take the width of the luchos, connect the length of the oren. How much is the length of the oren? 15, right? And how much is the luchos? 12. I have 3 tefachim extra. So what do I do with that? First of all, you have to give some space for the walls of the oren. The walls each would have a tefach. Have a tefach on one side, have a tefach on the other side. So how much am I left with? 2 extra. What do you put in the tefachim? I'm able to put the sefer Torah in that 2 tefachim. Sefer Torah, the Moshe Rabbeinu wrote, when rak shnei luchos avonim she'eniach sham Moshe. My ain bar when rak, there isn't but. It's a double negative. Miut achad miut ve'eniach achad miut el rak. It's coming to add sefer Torah shmun bar. We're going to get to it. We won't get to Shiva Luchos. So right now we're talking about the regular Luchos and you have the sefer Torah. The Gemara is going to bring this as a question regarding the size of the sefer Torah. We'll see soon. Says the Gemara, Pinasto and the Oracle. Okay, very nice. You tell me the length of the Aron. What do you do with the 50? So Pinus or in the Oracle. What about the width? Says something like this. How much Luchos Oracles Baron? How much the Luchos? It's the width of the Luchos. Sheshat Tvachim. Right? Because we said it's width. It's 6 by 6. Nishtayu Sham Shloisha Tvachim. So you have 6 Tvachim is the Luchos himself. How much you have left? We said it's 9. So 9 minus 6 is 3. Semen tefach, you have 1 tefach. You divide half a tefach for the koisel. We said, according to Rameir, the size of the width of the wall is half a tefach. So I have it on the one side, I have it on the other side. I have 2 tefachim extra. What do you do with 2 tefachim? I don't want it to be very hard to take the sefer Torah. I want to have some space to be able to pick up the sefer Torah. So that's why I have extra 2 tefachim. Today's already asked over here, when do you take out the sefer Torah? The Aron is a Kodesh Kadosh. So when do I go take out the sefer Torah? So he says, first of all, maybe between the Mishkan Shiloi and Beis Hamikdash, they had time, they used to use the Aron. Or they have to take it out to fix it, then you need to be able to remove the sefer Torah. So that's what Amir does the Cheshbonis. The measurements are based on 5 tefachim, not 6 tefachim. Because he goes with the Kalim always at 5 tefachim. What's the size of the luchos? 6 by 6. We all agree. And the thickness is 3. They're sitting in the length of the arm. How much is the luchos? The same like Rameir. 6 plus 6 is 12. But how much do you have according to Yehuda? According to Yehuda, it's a 5 tefachim. 2 amos is 10 tefachim. 2 amos and a half is 12 and a half. So I have over here 12 and a half, and I'm putting here 12. I have only a half extra. I have chatzi tefach. What do you do chatzi tefach? You have 1 figure to this question, you figure the other guy. So this goes to Rashi points out that the number of fingers per tefach is 4. It's 4. It's 4. So if I have 1 that's within this kaisel, 1 is within this kaisel. So what I have over here is it's a small size. That's that. So I have 4 boys for a tefach. I divide it into 2. I have your chatzi tefach. So I have 2 boys. 1 is about this. 1 is about this. Meaning a quarter of a tefach to one side, quarter to the other side. Pre nasta or in the ark. So I have the length. So parnas or in the ark. What happens to the width? So I'm like this. How much is the width of the luchos? Shisha Tvachim. 6 Tvachim, like we said before. What's left? Because according to Rabbi Yudo, you have 1 am and a half. How much is 1 am and a half? Am is 5 Tvachim. Plus 2.5 is 7.5. So I have over here, I have 7.5, 6 I'm using for the Aaron. I'm left with 1.5. That's the use that we have. And Rashi takes out the word mechza, so maybe etzva and etzva. Or not, so we have a discussion over here. What do you use? So the question is, which size of fingers you're using. Rashi says you would say you have a tefach mechza. You said before, mechza means half a etzva. Etzva is half of a half a tefach. So I use the half a tefach for the 2 walls. I'm left there with 1 tefach. What do you do with the tefach that you have left in the width of the Harim? You have a mudim, which are sticks made out of silver. He made a period a canopy. Also kesef. He made the amudim made of silver. The kavos are golden. So you have over here these amudim which are made out of silver, and they go into that space according to Yudah in the Aron. The Plishtim during the Yisrael. The Plishtim, when they stole the Aron, so the Aron caused them to die. They sent it back, and they sent it back with a box full of gifts. One of the two that was with different designs is showing the Aron design. Shema declares over Shavoisamoy. They brought it back. They put it in the box next to it. Where's the Sefer Torah? On the box. So on the side, not inside, not like a me. That says ain't bar in rock. That's mute. So the one that Fidal base, the rabbis, Shibru Lochois, Shumnochi Bar. We're talking about the broken pieces of Haran, which are in the Haran, and that's what it is. Let's continue this now. So continue on when the top Yudal base, the more says over here that according to Rabbi Yudo, what did they put? What do you learn from the drasha? That says Ein Ba'orin Rak LeRabbois Shivri Luchos. To tell you that Shivri Luchos are in the Aron. Shemunachim Ba'orin. Rashi says, that's what you surely mentioned before, we're in the Aron. Says Rashi Tachas Luchos. Now we have the height. Yeah, we mentioned at the beginning. We're not speaking about the height. Maybe here's the height. Because the width of the Luchos is only 3 Tvachim. So I have the Shivri Luchos and Luchos, I'm still good. If you hold the Sefer Torah, the circumference is 6 Tvachim. When I have a circumference of 3 Tvachim, so what's the diameter? The diameter is 1 Tefach. Because it goes to the middle, Nofish Le Mitre Tevcho Rav Chodebeni Beni. If I have 3 Tvachim, so then it's 1 Tefach. Now here, you roll it to the middle. So I have 2 rolls. You say that if we be together, it'll be 6 Tvachim. So I have now 2 small rolls of each one of 3 Tvachim, and which each one of which is 1 Tefach diameter. So 1 Tefach diameter is 2 Tvachim. 2 Tvachim. I'm not going directly into 2 Tvachim. We said the whole space for the Sefer Torah is 2 Tvachim. That's what it says. Now, because you have also the space in the middle. It's not 2 different roles, it's 1 role. Our Sefer Torah has 2 different roles, right? We have. But the one in the Hazorah was 1. So it folded, it was a small fold, went to another, like a Megillah, until you get to 1. So it's only 1 role. So the more still. If I have 2 Tvachim within 2 Tvachim, the size of the Sefer Torah is 2 Tvachim, you put it into a hole, 2 Tvachim. Lavashi, the correctly put to Bekachile. See, what you do is like this. You leave a little space. So the Sefer Torah is like this. Goes, roll, if you do a full thing, it would be 2 tefachim in width. Because it's 6 tefachim in circumference. So what you do is, don't put the full amount. A little less, and the rest, you'll make another circle on top. So you have like a little ball, looks like the number 8. And below, yeah, exactly. You have below a circle, and above it you have a small circle. In other words, part of the portion you put on top, so it takes less space. Says the Gemara, so that was a beautiful sheet. We said that where did he put the Sevetero? On the box the police team sent to the Aron. But that's happened many years later. What did he do before that? So what that Bava nothing there was a little shelf. They put it over there. What do you do with it? Says on the side of the Aron. Where do you put the Sevetero? I would say you put the Sevetero between the luchos. You put the 2 luchos and you put the Sevetero on the side. It's inside on the side. So where are the Amudim? We see that beautiful, we know where the Amudim were. The Amudim were in the space that you have left in the width. But remember, we said that we didn't put it there. So where did you put it? So the Gemara, Mivaroi, it was outside. The Amudim were outside. Always, all the years, I had a question, like, why we have space for Amir to put it in? Because we said that according to Amir, there's 2 tefachim in front, which will leave it to the Sevetero have easy access. You can put it there. How does he know Shiva Luchas in the Aron? But according to Amir, I didn't dashen. That's a pasuk in Sefer Shmuel. It says the word shame twice. Why? Hold on. Why it says shame twice? The 2 shemos is luchos, the shiva luchos. The 2 luchos are in the Aron. In the Aron, you have all the shemos of Hashem. All the shemos sitting in the Aron. And there's a lot of the Mepharshim discussed it more, what's the idea of the shemos in the Aron. But the shemos, that's what it means, shem Hashem. That's what you need for. And the Shiva Luchas Menachim Borim and all that. How does Amir know where the Shiva Luchas are? Now the Shibarto the Samta Borim. The Lashon Apostle is put in the Luchas what were in the first Luchas, the Samta Borim. Put it in the Aron. So you dash him, Shibarto Samta Borim. Whenever it's broken, you put it in the Aron. So here you learn, what you did, that you broke the luchos was the right thing to do. Shmuel agreed to that. So that's what you dash with this pasuk. This, no, the Mandam al Chor doesn't dash it from this pasuk. Very good. So the Gemara says right now, that's, we went to the Cheshbainis. Really, we started ready for the previous song when they were made review the machlekes, how the luchos are. The main reason we brought it because of the circumference of the Sevetero. But then we went into the details. So Gemara Torah about it. This is really interesting to understand why is the year, what is in the gap. But we just spoke about the Torah Nevi'im Ksuvim. So now we're telling you what is the order of Nevi'im. Seder Nevi'im, what is it? Yeshua, the Shaitim. Now most of them are chronological order. And we'll see when you have exceptions why is that so. So Yeshua, the Shaitim, Shmuel, Umelachim. This is an order. Yirmiyah, Yecheskel, Yeshaya, V'Shtemos. These are the Nevi'im. Second one, Michter Yeshaya Kodim. Yeshaya was first. Nechtiv. Tchilas, Tiber Hashem, Yeshaya. Yeshaya spoke to Yeshaya first. V'chim Yeshaya, Tiber Tchila. What do you mean he spoke to Yeshaya first? There was many Nevi'im before Yeshaya. It was one, the first out of 4 that were in the same era. Now we know that Yeshaya, Amos, and Micha are together. That's the Tres. The Tres are the 12 Nevi'im that are put together. So Yeshaya, Amos, and Micha are together. Why is Yeshaya come before? Yeshaya comes first. So Kivan Nichtin, if we say Chagai, Zechayo, Umalochim. Because the Nebuah is really together with Chagai Zachar Malochi, which means together with the Treasar. The Chagai Zachar Malochi Soif Nevi'im. They were in Bayis Sheni, they're much later in the history. So that's why Choshev Ba'adar. He put them together with him later. Why do you make him write him first and put him first in the order of Nevi'im? I did the Zudamikas. This is a big story about Treasar. So why Treasar put together? I think the Zudamikas because it's small, it gets lost. So that's why the small Nevi'im we put together, and we put a share who's also small over there. So the Gemara Michti Yishaya Yishaya was first. Yishaya should be first before Yirmi Yecheskel. Why the order is later? So the Melachim Soife Churban. The end of Melachim is Churban Beis Hamikdash. The Yirmiyah Kul B'Churban. Yirmiyah everything in Mashas is not Manish everything because there is some Nechom by Yirmiyah, but the majority of Yirmiyah is Puranos. Let's speak about the Churban. The Yecheskel Reish Churban of Sefer Nechamta. To begin with Yecheskel there is Churban, and then he ends with Binyan B'Yislish. So he ends with Nechama. The Yishaya Kul Nechet. The Yishaya is basically the vast majority. Again, not all. We know we're going to get Shabbos Chazoin. What's Shabbos Chazoin? It's a very bad nevuah. Chazon Shayo ben Amois, but most of it is Nechama. That's why we say this order. Melachim ends with Churban. Then you put Yirmiyah, which is Churban. Then Yecheskel, which is half and half. Then Yishaya, which is called Nechama. That's why Yishaya comes later. That was Nevi. Saying Ksuvim. What's the order of Ksuvim? Rus, Megillus Rus. The Sevet Eilim v'Yoif, Umishlei Koyelis. Shir Shirin, the Kinnois, which is Megillus Eicha. Daniel, Megillus Esther, Ezra Divrayim. That's the order. So Rashi goes on to say over here, this goes in the right order. Why? Because Rus is the first one, and then Tehillim is David HaMelech, who comes from Rus, and that's before Eyoif. That's why Rus, Tehillim, and then Eyoif, and then you have Mishlei Koyeles, which is Shloim HaMelech, comes after David, and Shir. And Rashi says he said it when he was old. The Kinois is Eicha, which is Yirmiyah, which is after Shlomo, when Beis Hamikdash is Nechav. And then you have the Niel, which is the time of the Golos Bavel. Megillus Esther, which is right after that, and the time of Achashverosh. And then Ezra, when Ezra came to build Beis Hamikdash Sheni. The Divrayim is like a summary. So we're going to see it soon. The year was way before. It was the time of Shavenu. Why is he not first? We don't want to start with Puranus. It's bad. Rus Dali Puranus, so also Rus is a Puranus. Because it says there the whole story about the Rov and everything else. But Puranus of these Dachis, yeah, but it has the hope in the end. Why she's called Rus? What's the end of Rus? She brings to David HaMelech. So that it starts bad, it's not so good, but it ends with good. So that's what Rus considers to be something good. Mashiach and Eyoif, which is Puranos, I don't want to start with that. So we start with Rus, which ends with David HaMelech, which brings the Melech HaMashiach. Very good. We'll stop over here. Continue from here. Be'ez Hashem tomorrow.